Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to compare a 20-year-old Chanel Classic flat bag with a 10-year-old Chanel Classic flat bag. And I'm doing this because I have received so many questions from many of you and also followers on my Instagram asking what should I be looking for when I'm looking for a pre-loved Chanel Classic flat bag on the resale market. So lots of questions around condition, craftsmanship, quality. Is this a good deal for the price? And so I thought maybe I should compare these two. These are both pre-loved. I purchased my black lambskin classic flap from Fashion File a couple of years ago, and this one is a vintage. This is a 6 series. I'll show you the authenticity card in a bit, and that places her at about the year 2000 roughly. And this one here, also pre-loved, I purchased from a reseller on Instagram. I will put her information down below in my description box. And this one is a 13 series, and it is circa year 2010, so it's about a 10-year-old bag, as I said. And I purchased both pre-loved, and I'm very, very happy with both in terms of quality, in terms of condition, in terms of craftsmanship. You know, if you've been on my channel for a while now, I did have a few not so great experiences buying classic flaps in caviar from the boutiques that I wound up returning because I was not happy with the way they were made, and there were issues, there were defects. So I wound up going the pre-loved route, and it was my first time ever doing that, and very, very pleased to have these two. I also have two other lambskin bags that I added very recently. You may have seen those unboxings. So I've got this one here. It's my one and only Chanel Mini Square, and it is in the 21p gold. It's hard to see on camera, but in person it's super shimmery and gorgeous. It's this very subtle, understated gold with light gold champagne hardware. And then again, you may have seen this one. This is also from the 21p collection. And it is the brown, it is formerly known as the brown lambskin mini rectangular flap, but a lot of people out there are referring to this color as caramel or camel or even terracotta. It's definitely an interesting color. I did do a whole video on this, and I compared this with other shades of brown and against my clothes. So definitely enjoying both of these. Well, I shouldn't say enjoying. I have not had a chance to wear either of these out yet because, first of all, I've only had them for a couple of weeks, but the weather here in New York has been quite gnarly with snow and hail, and the weather's just not been cooperating. So I'm not going to bring out a lambskin bag in this time of year. So once things settle down and it gets a little bit warmer and more mild out, I will definitely be wearing these beauties. But back to the medium classic flat bags. Like I said, this one here is about 20 years old. Let me open it up. I'm going to give you close-ups. So this one here is a 6 series. And then the red one, as I said before, is a 13 series. Both have amazing, amazing lambskin. You know, the leather will vary from season to season. Some series are just known to have beautiful, beautiful leather, whether it be the caviar cuts or the lambskin cuts. But in both of these cases, really happy. I do think that now that I've had experience with pre-loved lambskin, I do think that the older bags generally have better quality and craftsmanship, and I think those who have been using Chanel lambskin handbags or just Chanel bags in general, even caviar, for a long time will attest to just the decline in quality. And it's not just Chanel, but a lot of premium brands all around the world. Unfortunately, you're going to see a decline in quality and craftsmanship. So I know that has been quite an issue over the years. But again, really happy with these two. So let me show you side by side. The very first thing that I think you'll notice is that the quilts they're exactly the same. They're designed the same way, same size, everything. But the quilts on the red one, which is the 10-year-old bag, are much puffier, as you can see. Versus this one here, my vintage, it's definitely flattened over time. So you've got flatter quilts. Now I did really gravitate towards this one versus some other pre-loved classic flaps that I saw because of the sheen and the shine. I loved that it just looks so, I don't know, buttery and soft and supple. And the quilts were flat, but not deeply concave. You know, there are some bags that are older and just naturally the quilts have gotten quite concave looking. So you might see a few here and there, but for the most part, it's just kind of this nice, flat, clean look. Here I'll show you the back. Okay. So they both have the shine, they both have that sort of gleam. It's really beautiful how over the years, probably from the natural oils on your fingers, just the leather seems to get better and better. So here again, you can see some flattening on the back in particular, whereas the red one here has plenty of puff left. I'll show you from different angles. The other thing that I always look for is structure and symmetry. So I would not feel comfortable buying a Preloved classic flap that has asymmetrical shape, meaning if the flap was sort of crooked or one side was squished or protruding. In those cases, you may want to contact a leather expert like the leather surgeons just to get a quote on how much the work would cost if you wanted to get the bag sort of reshaped and restructured. It is quite costly to do that because they have to get in there and sort of undo the bag and almost remake the bag. So I do look for structure and symmetry right off the bat. It may not be perfect, but I don't want anything to be totally wonky, you know, right off the cuff. So here the same goes for my red one. And you're looking at symmetry. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as close as possible. Symmetry with the grommets as well, which are these two holes on each side that have the chain coming through. So you're just going to look for stuff like that. You want the CC turn lock to be centered, right? You don't want it to be too high, too low, too much to the left or to the right. So very similar. Now my black one has the flat CC hardware. I don't know if you can see the difference. Let's see if I can turn it around. So I love both, but you'll see it's just, there is a difference. So this one here has the flattened CC with kind of like the sharper edges. And then this one here has a bit more of a rounded CC. I also have the jumbo single flap and it has the flat CC. I do like that look. Not that I don't like the rounded look, but I guess I prefer the flat CC if I had to choose. I don't know why, it just looks quite clean. So let's open this up. I'm going to show you the differences of the interiors as well. Okay, so here you'll see there is some scuffing. Let's do one at a time since it's hard to hold both. There's some scuffing. There's a little bit of wrinkling here. There's some scuffing here. That's from both the chains and from this zipper pull, okay? When you close it, if it is not laying flat like so, if it happens to be kind of standing up like that, and it just smushes against, do you see that? It can cause these indents, but in my mind, this is pretty minor, especially for a bag that's 2 decades old. Okay, I think it was very well taken care of by the previous owner. And I did do some moisturizing and antibacterial cleanse. I did a video on that a while back. It's probably still in my Chanel playlist if you want to take a look. But nothing chipped, nothing broken or cracked, nothing wrong with the zipper, all very smooth. Still smells like just beautiful, gorgeous leather. Here's the inside, there's the snap. There is some creasing here from opening that probably would have happened over time with just me using it anyway, so I'm not too concerned. Here there is the burgundy lining. It's nice and tidy, it lays flat, no stretched pockets. Both made in France. You might have seen that when I opened that one up. So here's the inside of this one. Again, there's a 10-year age gap between these two ladies. But aside from the quilt flattening, I don't know if you can see that big of a difference. So there is some scuffing here as well. Same deal, okay, because the zipper pull is there. Probably a little less noticeable because it's this very saturated red. And there's the red lining that matches. Again, very tidy interior with the lining very kind of well-fitting. And then again, there's a little crease here. It's inevitable, as I said. And the rest is, in my eyes, pretty much pristine. The bottom, I like for it to still have that hard bottom structure, no sagging, no squishing, no folding, no creasing. And this is just, these are my parameters, my standards for what is a good deal based on the price that I'm looking at. But if you find something that has creasing and is a little bit off in terms of structure, there's no perfect bag out there. That's what I've learned over the years. But if something's a little off here and there, but still overall it looks gorgeous in your eyes, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and you know you're going to love it and use it and enjoy it and appreciate the bag for years and years, then if the price is right for you, then yeah, go for it. Don't go by anyone else's standards. I'm just talking about what I looked for when I purchased these. But people ask me all the time, hey, I found this really beautiful bag. I'm so in love with it. Do you think it's worth it for this price? And 9 times out of 10, unless I see something really wrong with the bag or I'm questioning the authenticity or something like that, 9 times out of 10, my answer is going to be, if you love it, go for it. You know, if you can afford it and you love it, go for it. It doesn't matter what I think, as long as you feel like it's worth it to you. Worth is totally relative. You know, I know these are material goods and there is the value behind the actual materials that were put into making this. But let's be honest, all Chanel bags, all luxury items are inflated and they're not actually going to be sold for the actual value of the materials. They're going for much, 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 much higher exponentially. So again, worth is relative. If it's going to make you smile from ear to ear and it's going to be functionally useful to you and make you happy in a sense, go for it, okay? But these are the differences that I wanted to point out because there are so many Preloved classic flaps on the market out there, and they're all a little bit different, and the pricing is going to be all different, right? So I wanted to show you that this is going to look like this for a 20-year-old bag, and then this one, in my mind, looks pretty much new, and it's 10 years old. This also brings me to the point about lambskin, because a lot of people mention to me how scared they are of lambskin, but if somebody used this bag for 20 years and it still looks this good, and the same for this one for 10 years, I feel like let's not be so scared of lambskin. I once was very intimidated as well, but now I am not, and I have now a handful of lambskin bags, including my Louis Vuitton Speedy BB, which you probably saw if you've been here before, and I'm using that thing just whenever, as long as the weather is not bad, and I'm not fretting over it. So let's try to have that mindset of just enjoying what we have. Let me also show you the chain. So I'm going to show you on this chain here, you've got a little bit of a loose thread on one side. I think there's also one other spot. I think there are 2 spots where the thread is loose. It's not like it's unraveling loose. It's more like the ends have started to fray. It's still very tightly knotted. I don't know if you can see that. There's still a knot there, so it's not like it's going to come undone. Nothing's going to happen to it. I'm not going to cut it. I don't want to mess around with it. It doesn't bother me. Sometimes I will shimmy this so that the part that has that little frayed leather will go into the grommet, and then you can't really see it. I wear it single flap anyway. Not single flap, singled like this anyway. I don't usually wear it with a double chain, but I know there's at least that one spot, and I believe one other spot, I can't even find it now, where it has that sort of fuzzy frayed thread. And then on this one here, probably because it hasn't been worn nearly as much and it's not as old, I don't see any of that. It's still very tidy. There's no fraying. There's no thread coming loose or coming out. Nothing like that. So those are the kinds of differences. Let's see. This one too, the bottom, as I showed you on the red, hard bottom, very structured. I have gotten scratches on this one a couple of times actually from my own fingernails, and literally I just go like that, and most of the time it just buffs right out. I know some people say that doesn't really work. For me, so far it has worked, probably because they haven't been deep scratches. I'm sure if you scratched your lambskin with keys, let's hope that never happens, but something really sharp like that and it digs in, then yeah, you're going to leave a permanent scratch. But little nicks and things like that, I just go like this really quickly, and seriously, it really does rub out. Same thing, like I think, like I just put my fingernail, I'm literally scratching my fingernails against it and there's nothing happening. There's a little scratch here that was there when I purchased this one. That was already there, this little line, but I don't see any other marks. So yeah, and for both of these bags, now I know that with the recent and constant Chanel price increases, the resale market is also following suit naturally, and you're seeing higher prices both in retail and also on the pre-loved market, okay? But just to give you kind of a benchmark, when I purchased this one from Fashionphile, I got it for under $4,000, and that was in, what was that? I feel like it was late 2019. This one I got just over the holidays last year in 2020, and also under 4,000. So I think these were really good deals. I don't know that there are a whole ton out there at that price, but they're out there if you really hunt, okay? So they're not, it's not like these just are the one and only in the whole universe. I think if you look carefully, part of it is luck. This one just kind of popped up on my radar. This one I looked for a long time. I think you can find something and you can save yourself a few $1,000s off of retail price, and in my opinion, most likely get some really amazing quality and craftsmanship from like the old Chanel days. This one, and I know I'm supposed to do follow-up videos with like what's in my bag or what fits and mod shots. I promise to do that. I got a lot of requests. I will. Same with this one, maybe do a comparison of these two. I have a lot of videos that will be coming soon, but I definitely wanted to get this out because I think it will be helpful for those of you who are first-time buyers or first time on the pre-loved market. This one here, it is brand new, right? I just got this a couple of weeks ago. It is like the newest lambskin that I've had. It's very soft. It's very nice. It's very buttery, but I don't know if it's because of just different materials or different level of quality, or because this is so new and it doesn't have like the natural oils and the sheen from getting aged. I will say that both of these are far superior as of now, if I'm just being honest. The quality of the lamb and the feel and the suppleness is far superior than this new one, even though I think this one is absolutely beautiful and I have no complaints about it. If I had never purchased these two and I never knew, I'd be like, oh my goodness, this is the softest leather I've ever felt. But again, in comparison, there just is a difference. And again, I'll caveat that maybe it is the aging process of, you know, using it and taking it out and about and getting your oils on it that makes it so beautiful. I do think that leather in most cases gets more and more gorgeous over time, like the aging process, the patina on certain leathers. Like I do love aged leather. So we'll see what happens with this one, but how beautiful is she? And then this one's going to be very different because it's got that treated kind of shimmery, I don't know if it's considered iridescent, but it's different. It actually doesn't feel like lambskin. It's soft, but not nearly as soft as the others. If somebody told me it was calfskin, I'd probably believe them. If someone said it was goatskin, I'd probably believe them. So yeah, this is just a little different. So I hope that was helpful. I wanted to share this video and I promised to follow up with the minis. I know a lot of you are waiting, but I wanted to definitely get this out there because I do get so many questions. And let me know if you have any comments or specific questions for me related to this down below. I'll try my best to answer. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.